Hello, everybody, and welcome to another Spark of Genius Flesh and Blood production. And we haven't done an interview in a while. We were waiting for one of those big events, big like a calling or like something along those lines. And we just had a calling Krakow, the first European major event. I mean, there was a Battle Hard in the UK. I'm not really putting that in the same sphere here. This is the first tier 3 and above event. It was a blitz calling. It was a two day event down in Krakow, Poland. And we have with us Martin. I feel like I'm going to butcher your name if I say. I guess is it Hechtberger? I don't know if that's correct.
Hechtberger.
Okay, that's the last name. He top four the calling. I saw a bunch of his games. I was very very interested in getting him on the channel to talk about his kind of journey in the calling. I've seen some of his. I think there was an article. There was like a Word doc I read about one of your Bolton. I think it was either national championship or it was pro. It was one of those things about Saber Bolton. So
Yeah,
I am kind of. Sorry, go ahead.
I wrote tournament reports for my 3 Road to Nationals last year.
Right. Yeah. No. So I read those. So I was aware of Martin's existence, and definitely wanted to bring him in here. They were in quite well. I was quite interested in that. And so, I mean, without further ado here, I'm of course joined by my co-creator, co-commentator, co-caster, co-compatriot Rob.
Yes, hello.
And we're gonna be asking Martin a little bit about his experiences, about the calling itself. He did play Kano, so we'll be of course asking him a bunch of Kano questions because everyone loves to hear about Kano. I know I love to hear about Kano.
He's one of your mains too, so I'm sure you're extra excited.
oh yeah, I'm very. We got Kieran and now we got Martin, so I'm bringing all the Kano mains on here.
That's right.
And that's what we're gonna have as our library here. So I'm going to throw it off to Rob to go over the first part here.
Yeah, so let's start off with some of the pre-event stuff. So this is kind of a multi-part question, but let's talk a bit about your prep, for this calling event. And more particularly, were you deciding between multiple different decks? And then what made you ultimately pick Kano for this event?
Yeah, I was considering multiple different decks. I was fairly sure that I didn't want to play Viserai because Europe was all over Viserai because he can have pretty nut draws and beat you up by turn 1 or 2.
Yep.
And I don't like playing mirrors much, so I'm more the guy that likes to play the deck that beats the best deck.
Yes.
Playing the best deck.
Like anti-meta kind of deck.
So I tried all sorts of different decks out. Deciding on what's best. Like one of my the last 3 I still had in consideration the week before the calling were Jane, Icelander, and Kano.
Okay.
Like I played some other decks as well. Like I tried Lexi and Rhina a bit and Dash, of course, because I'm actually started out as a Dash main, so that was the first.
Awesome. You're on the right channel for that.
Yeah, exactly.
Why Chain and Icelander? Just out of curiosity, because I don't think I saw Chain and Blitz for a while. Icelander we saw a little bit of, but just out of curiosity, what were those kind of the other 2 decks?
Well, I played Chain last skirmish season, not this skirmish season, but last skirmish season, and found him pretty strong and interesting to play.
Right.
And it's not a deck that's played much in Blitz anymore because of the other room blades.
Yeah.
Yep.
Mainly because people just played them.
Yep.
And I was talking to Jason Thompson-Shack from the New Zealand guys about the deck since last skirmish season, and we changed the deck around a lot, and it was pretty strong. And you have the invert existence that's pretty strong against Viserai.
Okay, fair enough.
While it can be explosive, it's usually not that explosive as the Viserai decks. And another reason was I just punted so many games playing Chain. I just couldn't wrap my head around it. Like,
like
simple things like using spellbound creepers to play out Tome of Torment to draw a card, so and just
Right.
so I
Good. No, that's fair.
Yeah.
and also Chain is like my least favorite hero in the game, except for maybe Stavo now, but just from the lore side, I just can't
Oh,
stand
like the
Chain.
flavor.
I
Yeah,
see.
like the flavor.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
love the Shadow Runeblade stuff. The cards look amazing and everything, but just Chain himself is just ugh.
Not a fan. Yeah.
No.
Yeah, yeah.
He's like this whiny edgelord guy, and I don't like
Yep.
that.
That
No,
that
that's
summarizes
fair.
him pretty
So,
perfectly there.
so that left me with Icelander and Kano, and I just couldn't beat Viserai as consistently with Icelander as I did with Kano.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And while Icelander was the hero I was most excited about when Everfest was announced, and I actually played her in an armory before the set even came out, just with a proxy.
Fair enough.
Actually won the armory with her, which was kind of fun.
Oh, nice, nice.
Mhm.
There are so many different builds for Icelander floating around, and I just felt I didn't have the time to test Icelander too much to play it. So I just picked a Kano list that I got from Kieran Carnegie
Mhm.
and went with that.
Oh, fair enough.
I also played some Kano during the skirmish season, and I think it was
Right.
my most successful deck. But the list I played was very different from the one I played in the calling, because it basically forfeited the game to any high arcane barrier opponents, and
Okay.
just
Mhm.
went for the was just built to beat Viserais and Kasais and all the
Mhm.
free arcane barrier builds out there. With
Right.
like small attacks, Zap, Reverberate,
Yeah.
Eta Flare, stuff like that.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I
Makes sense.
actually picked up the final version of the deck, or close to final version. I changed one card before the
Mhm.
calling.
Fair
On
enough.
like Wednesday, Thursday before the event. And then just played 3 testing games with it against oldhim to see if I can manage to get the pitch stack
Oh yeah.
right.
That's
And
that's
what
a
That's
I have
big
to
fair.
one.
be
It's
aware
a,
of.
it's
And
a, it's important.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
yeah, and by the third game, I managed to pull it off, and it felt very satisfying to do it.
I can see that. That makes
So
sense.
that
Really
decided
locked
me
into
that
Kano.
that's what I want to run.
Yeah.
Fair
Awesome.
enough.
That was a great explanation. Yeah, thank you very much for sharing. So let's go to question number 2. Let's talk about the venue itself. So we've seen some really nice pictures, on Facebook and on the
This
articles
is
from
really
Oh
nice.
yes.
LSS. It looks really nice. From your perspective, being there physically, what was that atmosphere, like? And have you ever been to Poland before?
I probably have been to Poland before, but don't ask me. I can't remember exactly what for. It likely was for some other trading card game tournament,
Nice.
like
Yep.
20 years back or something.
Fair enough. It's been a while.
Yeah, or maybe for a work trip as well. But I mean, work trip, you basically stay in the hotel and not much to see. So
No, fair enough.
I don't even know for certain if I was in Krakow before.
Right.
Nothing looked familiar to me.
But how would you describe like the
But
atmosphere
yeah,
of the event itself? Yeah.
atmosphere. I mean, the venue was really great. Like it's like a big beer hall that didn't serve beer to
A
the
little bit of a
because
deception.
of the tournament.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
I mean, I'm not a big drinker and wouldn't have, but
Yeah.
sure would have made things easier if other people could have tried.
Yeah, that's right. Free beer stands to weed out the weak.
So
Oh,
yeah,
No, that's
the
fair.
yeah.
location was very nice.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not sure how it would hold up if it wasn't Easter and the attendance would have been bigger, because I
It's true.
think that if not for the date, there would have maybe been 600 people or something at the calling,
Right.
and not just the
Right.
319.
Right.
and they needed most of the tables for the calling, as far as I can remember. So
Okay.
Gotcha. Yeah. That makes a lot of sense. I mean, a lot of people probably had plans that weekend, so they couldn't have, made the
yeah,
trip or taken the time for it. Was it very packed? From the pictures, it looked pretty packed.
it was pretty packed, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, it
Awesome.
definitely
But
looked like
it's
everyone
not
was like
just
side
the
by side.
location, like the whole place there. It's in the old town, which all looks very nice.
Mm.
You had food trucks with street food right around the corner outside.
Oh, nice.
The
Sounds
hotel
great.
was like 5 minutes away with another with even more street food trucks, and
Food was plentiful.
Yeah,
food was plentiful there. Yes.
that's great.
So I didn't even get to try the food at the venue because you could just go outside and get amazing stuff for half the price.
That's true. That's awesome. All right.
Yeah.
So, in terms of your performance at the event, did you have any goals before you went in, or were you mostly just going in to have some fun?
Well, I wanted to win, of course.
No, fair enough.
And
Yeah.
I also had this little goal that I wanted to beat an oldhim with pitch stacking on live stream.
Okay. Very nice.
Well, I mean, you got that one pretty early on, actually.
I
You
got that
one in
one,
Swiss. You got that one for sure. No, that totally makes sense.
Awesome. So I guess you talked a little bit about the Oldhim matchup and the chain matchup, but did you prepare any specific strategies for certain matchups that you thought you would see a lot?
Well, I had 2 scours in the deck for the Viserai matchup,
Okay, nice.
Okay.
but it ended up not being very important.
Mm.
Like, I think it only did something in one game against a player who hadn't played against Kano before, and I killed him
Oh,
on
okay.
my first turn. So
Okay, yeah.
One
You didn't
of
even need
those.
the scours at that point.
yeah, like I
Yeah.
scoured away all his rune chants on his turn,
Mm-hmm.
and then just killed him on my turn.
Mm.
Gotcha.
Kano can be very unforgiving if you don't know what you're up to.
Oh yeah, 100%.
Yeah, like I still remember my first game against Kano. I died like turn 1 or 2 too
Yep.
when I was playing the
We
Rintier.
we've all been there. We've all experienced Kano's OTKs
Yeah.
on your own turn.
Rob's experienced it a lot.
Yeah, more than the average player probably. Awesome.
No, that's fair.
All right, so I'll pass it on to Eric for the main event stuff.
I guess with the Swiss, so we'll get into the first Swiss game we saw you on stream with after. But as far as I mean, there's a lot of Swiss, so I'm not expecting you to remember literally every single Swiss game you played here. But like, as far as any matchups of
You
note,
might be surprised. I think I remember
okay.
pretty much everything.
was there anything like out of the ordinary, or like some crazy combos on some players that didn't know like it was possible, or anything of note that you'd like to like bring up from Swiss that wasn't streamed?
First day when I arrived, we got the player meeting, and I was immediately sitting down opposite of Harvoye,
Okay.
a player I'm friends with actually.
Mm-hmm.
So first round playing someone I know already.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've been there.
Yeah, but he was on Viserai, which wasn't too bad for me, I thought.
Mm-hmm.
But I still wasn't right there, and I misplayed horribly. Like, I went first and attacked him with a spell for just 3 arcane damage, and he immediately cycled 3 red cards out of his hand. Like, he had 4 reds in his hand and was very happy that I shot him so he can cycle away cards, and just got a potion down.
Mm-hmm.
And then later I made another mistake by miscalculating how to use the potion of deja vu, and made a play that just left me with 1 less resource than I had before, and nothing else changed. And I basically just threw the game in all the ways possible. It would have been an easy win, so I was at a 0-1 start already. against the matchup I think is actually favored for me.
Right.
And then second game, I played against one of the oldhims from the team event the day before.
Wow.
And
Small world.
yeah, the one with the AB3 and Sledge. And still hadn't exactly figured out how to beat that. And I don't think I went for the pitch stack. I just tried him to beat him in another way.
Tried to just like race him down, like just keep throwing spells at him.
Yeah,
I
just tried to race him down, and it just didn't work. Like I was still tired and still like a bit set up because of all my mistakes in the first game. So I couldn't really concentrate on that game as well, and just went 0-2. So not a very good start for the tournament.
Yeah, I know, right?
And then third round, I got paired against the Viserai, who probably wasn't very experienced, I think. I think it was the longest Viserai game I played all tournament. Like, I think it got to 4 rounds or something. But I just slowly whittled him down. So that was my first win. Then I played against the Kasai.
Okay, first Kasai.
Yeah, this was the first time I actually played with Kano against Kasai, I think.
Oh, okay, just the first time in general.
First time in general, yes. But my basic plan was to just block one of the sabers each turn so that he can't get too many coppers and just kill him from there. And it felt pretty easy. Like the Rintia is much worse usually. That was the last opponent I had in the team tournament. Was it the Rintia?
Oh, okay.
I remember.
Fair enough.
Okay.
Yeah. So you think the Dorinthia matchup is harder for Kano than the Kasai matchup?
Yes, I think so. Like, Dorinthia has a lot more attack reactions. She gets counters on the downplay. She doesn't have to wait for the specialization to do her big thing.
Right.
Because she just can get counters and do the big thing every turn or something.
No, that makes sense. Okay, so you're pretty easily beat the Kasai. Now you're 2-2 going into round 5.
Yeah, I'm not sure if round 5 was probably another Viserai. Yeah, round 5 was against another Austrian guy, but rather new player on Viserai, and he hadn't played against Kano before. So that was the game I told you about before. He went first. Played like Mordred Tide, Morphrion Skies, read the runes or something like that, making 8 rune chants. I pitch for Kano, find a scour, and scour away all his rune chants.
That must be fun. That must be fun for him.
And maybe hit him with a snapback on top or something. So I dealt a lot of damage, and then on my turn I hit him with Lesson in Lava. And since he didn't knew what Kano is capable of, he let it through, and I found the blazing for lethal.
Wow!
So that was a very short game.
You'll take those.
He'll remember that. He's gonna remember that for next time.
Yeah. So I was finally with a positive record there, and then round 6. I'm not sure if I get the name right, but I was playing Francesco Giorgi, I think, the winner of the Battle Hardened League.
Yeah, the winner of the UK Battle Hardened. He played Oldhim, I think, at that one.
Yeah, he played Oldhim, also with Sledge and AB3. And this is where I finally went for the pitch stacking strategy again. And finally managed to beat an Oldhim with the pitch stack in the tournament.
Awesome.
And which was very satisfying. I found both Tome of Fiandals very early against him and went over 20 life, I think. So by the time I reached my pitch stack and got to the combo, I was still at 8 life.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. I feel like it's very nice, especially into the Oldhim, when you're trying for that pitch stack to get the early tomes, because you actually, unless they're drawing really, really good, you have enough time to actually get tomes off for like maximum value. I feel like they're like quite nice to get off.
Yeah, I don't usually even go for maximum value, because if you keep a card in hand, It gets you 1 life, but if you block with it, it saves 3. So unless you actually want to do a lot for pitching to Kano, I don't think it's really necessary to actually go for the maximum value or even wait for the tunic.
That's
But
fair.
usually get 1 tome off with the tunic, and I think he had the channel like Frigid out for another tome, so I couldn't even play it with the tunic.
Yeah, that's fair. Okay.
But just getting this life advantage helps so much against oldhim.
Yeah, because you get extra turns to actually get it off.
Yeah. And you draw a card, so you reach your pitch deck faster.
True. That's fair. Yeah. Okay. So that was round 6?
Round 6, yeah. I mean, my pitch deck in that game didn't work out the way I actually planned. Because I drew the second blazing very late, like right before the pitch deck. So it was in my hand, and I had the stir in arsenal. But I knew that below the wildfire was a chain lightning, and that I could still go for chain lightning into blazing from hand. Which wasn't really planned, but I remembered that I had it there, so it worked out.
Right. Okay. Fair enough. Sometimes it's off by a couple cards. It happens.
Yeah, it's like it can be off, but if you remember what is off, there are a lot of ways in the Kano deck that actually can fix the pitch deck. That's also the reason why I'm running the Talismanic Lens.
Yeah.
Because you can opt 2 cards away that you don't need that are in the pitch deck, and against oldhim with Oaken Old Fused, it's very relevant because you can just put 2 cards in your pitch deck that you don't want there.
No, that's fair. So now you're definitely over halfway for day 1. So you're around 8 now, I guess?
No, round 7.
Oh, round 7, right,
6,
okay.
Round 4 now. Not sure what I played next. It was probably an Icelander. Either Icelander or Viserai, because that was all I faced from now on.
Okay.
That's Viserai. That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah. But I think it was... Yeah, I don't remember. There was one Viserai game that I won fairly easy on day 1 left. And then another in round 9, or I think, that I lost. Because I just couldn't find a wildfire or anything to kill him with in 3 turns or so.
Couldn't find the threat.
That's unfortunate, yeah.
Yeah, and I think round 7 or 8 was against Icelander. And I wasn't sure about the Icelander game. I mean, people told me it's not favored for Kano.
Because of the ice?
I won all...
Just the frostbites?
I think it's probably because of the Heart of Ice. And because she has much a king area and can run sigils.
I see.
But the game actually came down to a judge call. Because my opponent used Hope Merchant's Hood on his turn to shuffle his 2 cards back, and he immediately shuffled them into his deck without giving me priority to respond.
I see.
So we had a judge call. The judge went to the head judge because he didn't know how to handle this.
Yeah.
And what they ended up coming up with was that the cards stay shuffled in while I'm able to respond.
Okay.
And after I'm finished responding, he can draw up.
Okay, so that's really good for Kano. Yeah.
That's very good for Kano.
So I was able to just kill him in response because I had 4 blues in hand.
Well, yeah, that's definitely someone who's playing against Kano. That's a lesson you got to learn. You got to stop and wait to make sure they pass priority back before doing your stuff.
If you're playing Kano, just wait for them to put their cards in their deck and be like, "Oh, wait a sec, I want to respond."
No, fair enough.
Yeah, so that was a pretty fortunate win. Then I think last round, so I had 2 other Viserai games. One I won, one I lost. And then last round I was against another Icelander. And so I was going first. We revealed our equipment, and he didn't reveal Heart of Ice. He revealed Tunic.
Oh, okay.
And
Interesting.
Wow.
and then he told me he had never played against Kano before.
Uh,
That explains
that makes
it.
more
So
sense.
on his on the, which was surprising because he's playing a wizard as well. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So on his first turn, he pitched to play Stir into Voltic Bolt, leaving his hand completely empty and no pitch over, and I just killed him in response.
That's
Yeah.
that's definitely not something I would recommend stir vaulting. Like that costs 4 just off the bat. Like you're not going to have much in response, and it's just that was turn 1 too. So it's like even if they pitch, they
it
can
was
just draw
like his
back up.
first turn. Oh, I
Interesting.
remember the other Viserai game I won was also like this. Like I went first, did some damage to him. Then he played out his complete hand, had 2 resources floating, and I killed him in response on his first turn.
Right. No, that's
So
definitely
like
fair.
I had 3 opponents who I killed first turn
Nice.
during the first day.
Yeah.
And
No.
ended day 1 at 7-3.
Okay. Climbing back.
With a terrible tiebreaker because I lost the first 2 rounds.
Yeah, that's Flesh and Blood in a
Which
nutshell.
Yeah.
which meant I have to win all 5 games on the next day
Oh
to make it
man.
in top 8.
Yeah.
So I was thinking about just dropping and playing one of the battle hardens, or just playing the first 1 or 2 rounds, and then
Yeah.
if I don't win, then
Wait
drop
for your
for the
first
battle harden.
loss. Exactly.
Yeah, something like that.
Let's talk a little bit about the stream game, because that was round 12 into an oldhim. So that was the first time you were on stream. Oldhim with the null 4 with Heart of Ice, Crown of Seeds, plus Crown of Seeds. We'll talk about the Swiss, because you still employed the same kind of the strategy, the like OTK kind of setup strategy. So maybe talk me through a little bit about that the first streamed game, on how you kind of navigated that one.
Yeah, like day 2, first game was against the Viserai, round 11. That I beat pretty fast, like round 2, the pretty standard Viserai matchup. And then round 12 sat down against the oldhim, which discouraged me a little bit because I need to win it to make it into 8.
You don't want to see oldhim.
But then the judge came over and said we were going to beat a feature match, and I was like, okay, now I'm going to beat him for sure.
Step it up. Nice.
More on the line now.
Can't back down now.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I think the game went pretty well. I got one of the tomes very early. I didn't see the other tome in time, if I remember it correctly.
The Tome of Finder.
Yeah, Tome of Vandal, yes.
Right.
I was pretty sure he wasn't on Steadfasts, because I haven't seen anyone on Steadfasts, except for the guy I faced in the top 8 then. He had 1 Steadfast in the deck. And yeah, actually in testing I was running 1 Chains of Eminence for the combo turn for the Steadfast.
Right.
But since no one was running Steadfast, I removed it for a red 8 of Lair before the tournament.
Fair enough. Okay, so that was like the card change.
Some of the games. So it was a good inclusion, I think.
Yeah. Okay. That makes sense, because you set up I believe you set up a wildfire turn. So you set up the wildfire blazing Aether, if I recall.
Wildfire blazing turn.
That makes sense. I remember seeing that one on stream. So how do you think you were practicing kind of to pitch stack properly? So essentially, what was your mentality with learning how to be able to pitch stack for like that OTK combo? Do you just kind of practice a lot and like count the cards a lot, or is there like some kind of way you practice that specific strategy?
Well, I just played 3 games against my testing partner, and the 4th game against the new player who played the deck of my testing partner, and just tried to do it. So
the repetition, I guess.
Yeah, the repetition, and just just trying to remember what I pitch. And in the beginning, I was also counting the cards I pitched much more, so that I knew more about when I reached the pitch stack. But in the end, I decided that I will just remember what's the first thing I pitched, and then I know when I draw it that I reached it, and don't go too much into it.
Don't overthink it.
Right.
Yeah, it actually was a problem in the game against Francesco in round 6 on the first day, because I was counting my deck from the bottom to the top, because I knew how many cards I pitched, and then I was counting it from the top to the bottom to see how many turns I have. But and he thought I was somehow manipulating the cards in my deck or something.
Oh.
So he called the judge.
Oh.
Interesting. He's never seen anyone count their cards. Okay, that's fair. He probably hasn't been playing against old school chain before.
I think it just was the weird way I counted the cards, because I first counted from the bottom to a certain place, and then I counted from the top to that place down.
Okay.
Okay. I can see how that might look a little weird to someone who hasn't seen that kind of stuff before.
Yeah.
Okay, that makes sense.
But I played an Eye of Ophidia in the turn and said put one card on top and one card on bottom, and I could tell the judge what these cards were, so that he knew that I didn't change any cards.
No, that's fair. So we're gonna fast forward here a little bit to your top 8. So they didn't show us the standing, so I don't actually know what seed you were. All we knew on stream
that seed.
Okay, so you were a 4th seed facing a 5th seed who was Oldhim. We didn't get to see the top 8 Oldhim. Yes. We didn't get to see that match. We only got to see the semis match. So tell us a little bit about your top 8.
Because the top 8 match was really, really amazing.
What did we see instead? I don't even remember. I think we just saw another Viserai. We just kept seeing Viserai all the time, so it was kind of getting a little repetitive. Seeing a little purple, exactly.
There was a lot of Viserai there. Yes,
it was like half the event, I think, right?
It was a big piece of the pie chart there. I know they saw
one third of the players were on Viserai.
That sounds about right.
Over 1/3 actually.
Yeah.
So tell us a little bit about the Oldhim top 8 game.
Yeah, it was against Sebastian Goller, a player I knew back from the Road to Nationals in Manich, where we met up for a beer before the tournament and afterwards. So a very, very cool guy. Always nice to play him. And he's a Guardian main, so he's playing Guardian since I don't know when. He's always playing
since
Guardian.
The beginning.
Since Bravo.
Yeah, and in the top 8, you get to see the deck lists of the opponent. So I knew that he had a very high red count for an oldhim. He had 18 red cards in the deck.
That's a lot. Wow.
He had 4 red defense reactions, which were like dead cards against me.
Right.
So the Sinks and the Fate Foreseen. He ran 1 Pulverize, Oaken Olds, Crippling Crush, E-Strikes, 2 Sigil of Solace, which were a bit of a problem because he could gun live.
Right.
Yep.
And what else did he have? Yeah, one red Steadfast and Spinal Crushes. And Pummels, of course.
No, that's fair. So the top 8 was Sledge, though. So you were facing Sledge, Arcane Barrier 3?
Yes. Okay. And he tried to put as much pressure on me as he could. But slow me down with Channel like Frigid.
Okay.
But I think I got a relatively good draw with the Tome of Fiendals relatively early, at least one of them. He almost messed up my pitch stack a bit with the Oaken Old.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so I had 3 cards in my hand. But or maybe this was in the streamed game as well. I'm not sure.
Yeah.
But let me
it's all blending. It's all blending.
He played a non-fused Oaken Old like turn 1, and then later he had a fused Oaken Old.
Oh, okay.
But
so he just got both of them.
By the time my pitch stack was already done or close to done.
On the second Okanold.
Yeah, the second Okanold. Like, I knew he had a steadfast, so I had to plan a bit differently for that. And I talked to Kieran Carnegie before what I should do, and he suggested I should hit him with what's its name? Aether Spindle. Yeah, red Aether Spindle.
Yep.
Before my combo turn, so that he maybe uses his crown and doesn't have a full hand.
Okay.
And also that I stack my deck with Tome of Aetherweave and the blue below, so that I can get +1 damage from the Tome of Aetherweave and get the blue back that I need to pitch for it.
Oh, so you would choose a +1 draw 1.
Yeah, that was the plan at least, but it didn't work out as planned. Because in the end, I got the first blazing I got was the first card I pitched at the beginning of the pitch stack. And the second blazing was very late, so I had both blazings in the hand instead of the... I drew both blazings, so I had 1 blazing in arsenal, 1 in hand, and only 3 blues instead of the 4 I wanted. So I was a bit low on resources. But I knew that I also had a Chain Lightning in my pitch stack that I could use. But the combo turn took a really long turn because I had to repair my pitch stack several times. Like, I first had to use the lens to put the remaining blues on the bottom because I was going off like 1 turn earlier than planned.
Okay.
Then I misremembered that I had actually 2 blues below one of the tomes because of his Okanold. I knew I needed 2 blues because I was short on resources. I couldn't make the combo with the 1 blue +1. So I was actually putting blues back on top of my deck with my Potion of Deja Vu. And then I drew 2 blues and thought I was done with it. Pitched for Kano, and there was another Potion of Deja Vu there. Which I didn't need for the combo, so I was down 3 resources as well. But I could use the second Potion of Deja Vu to repair the whole thing again and put a second blue under the second tome to get my blues back again. So, and in the end, I managed to Aether Spindle him on the turn before, so he had already used Crown and took some damage.
Right.
That's also what allowed me to go off a bit earlier because I had the opt from the turn before.
From the spindle,
and then I managed to go. I think without Metacarpus, I just had the Spindle, Crucible, Aether Wildfire for 8, which he only could block 3 because he hadn't drawn the
Steadfast.
And then into Chain Lightning, blazing from hand, and then another blazing from arsenal if it would be needed. So I think it would have been 40 damage or something at a turn.
Yeah, that's not bad in Blitz. That's some damage right there. Goes through most everything. So
yeah, because the first blazing was already coming at him for 15. So
yeah, not much you could do there. No, that's fair.
Yeah, so the second blazing would have been like 30 damage or something, and so that's well above 40 damage.
Yeah, so after blazing a trail there, you're in top 4, and you're seeing Viserai again. I mean, you're probably sick of this. Well, maybe you're not sick of Viserai because you have slightly. You've been doing pretty okay. Yeah, you've been doing pretty okay versus
I was
Viserais.
picking Kano because it had the best chance against Viserai.
Right. Yeah, so you're not, you're not super sad about seeing Viserai here. It's probably better than like oldhim with Steadfast, right? So in this case, this was streamed. So this was the streamed game, the second one we've seen you in on day 2. and it was against, I guess, the eventual winner. He ended up winning the tournament. However,
Yeah.
in this game here, do you think there was? I guess give us kind of like a brief. Some brief points here. Is there anything that you did that maybe you think there was like a different line to be had that might have increased your odds?
Yes,
Uh, he
definitely.
he was very fast. To be fair, like he was running like Tome of Arknight, and he was kind of trying to high roll the bejesus out of you. So it was pretty obvious what his strategy was. But was there anything you think you might have changed?
Yeah, what I should have done during his first turn was not block with a card from hand the arcane damage, but just go to 1 life and block with the tunic.
Mm.
And
Oh,
then on
on the
my
very
turn,
last, yeah.
I could have gone Lesson in Lava into Blazing,
Mm.
Ah, yes,
which
the double
if
lesson
he
blazing.
if he doesn't block, he goes down to 6 life, and I have the Wildfire in Arsenal.
Mm.
Okay.
Or one alternative would have been that I opted with the lens in his turn. I could have kept the Stir on top and
Right.
could have gone Stir into Lesson into Blazing on my turn, which wouldn't have dealt as much damage, but it would have been better if he blocked.
Right.
But I think if he blocks, I'm fine. So I think just going to 1 and going Lesson Blazing would have been the play there. And then depending on the hand I get, I probably can kill him or not. But like the way it played out, I blocked, so I only had 3 cards, went Lesson into Tome to hope to get more blues because I run 20 blues and only 12 reds in the deck. But I got
Tome
2
of
reds.
this was Tome of Aetherwind?
Tome of Aetherwind.
Mm.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, so you got the 2 reds instead of the blues.
Yeah, I got 2 reds, so I just pitched them for Kano because that was all left to do. I found a Blazing on top, which probably was the best outcome I could have hoped for in that case.
Because it's free,
But yeah. But it was
No.
pretty terrible. Like the turn before where he played out his hand and only had 2 resources left, and I used the lens, I had another Wildfire and the Blazing on top. And that's just not enough to kill him. Like I would have needed a Tome or a Blazing or something to push the damage through and kill him on his first turn.
Yep.
Which is kind of hard when he's on 20 life.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, that's fair.
Yeah, I think I could have won if I played it differently, but yeah, it's my brain wasn't working so well anymore after that long
after
oldhim
a
game
lack
and
of
things.
sleep and all that stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, I definitely have been there. And you get to top 8, your top 8 game is like the most draining game ever, and then you get into semis, not even knowing if you're going to win top 8, and you have to go through another slog. So I get it. It's not easy.
Yeah, and also, I mean, Kogane called me an experienced Kano player on stream, but that's just not true. It's Kano is a deck I just pick up from now and then for 1 armory, and then just leave it again. It's not a deck that I have a lot of experience with.
Well, you looked experienced enough to him.
Yeah.
Yeah, but something like lesson into Blazing is something I've never done before. Yeah, it's
right.
Yeah, it's one of those old school. That's like a pre-Everfest, like lesson Blazing was like one of those like a low. They have low pitch count or they have low arcane barrier. It's like one of the cheapest guaranteed like damage outputs.
Yeah, I knew about it, but I just didn't think about it on that turn.
In the moment, yeah, it's hard to.
There's a lot of lines. I mean, it's kind of hard to like.
Yeah.
You're gonna sit there forever. So that's kind of like playing. The more you play Kano, the better acquainted you are with all the different lines. But still top 4 and got yourself a gold foil. You kept it sealed, right? I don't think you opened it, or did you open it?
I kept it sealed and I sold it sealed.
Nice.
Oh, you sold it already. That doesn't take very long.
Yeah.
Okay.
No,
fair enough. No, okay. Well, you're definitely banking that money here, and I guess Rob will take us into the post event here.
Yeah, so I've got a few more questions here leading into, I guess, into the Pro Tour. So, do you have any plans to make it out to New Jersey for the Pro Tour? And are you going to be banking that PTI for Worlds, maybe?
Yes to both. I'm not sure what's required to qualify for Worlds because they
Right.
haven't told us yet.
Yeah.
That's fair.
So
Yeah, because we're
I
all
will
assuming it's
likely
just a
keep,
PTI.
Yes, it's true.
so I will likely keep the PTI just in case.
Yeah.
Mhm.
It's a good call. Yeah.
Because otherwise I could sell it probably.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
That's true.
no, that's
Those
true.
those go for some money. I've seen people buying for like $500 or something like that.
Oh, more than that. Some of them
Yeah,
going for
More
like
than
the
that.
1K.
one local player told me that he sold his PTI for $1,200.
Oh wow.
Yeah,
Not a
that's
bad chunk of
definitely
change actually. I
Not
can
not bad,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah. Like definitely
no,
worth
that's fair.
considering for that kind of money. Wow.
So,
No,
but I was invited to the Pro Tour through rating because
Mm-hmm.
I'm like number 30 lifetime XP.
Okay. Very nice.
Boomer XP. I got you.
Yeah.
I'm right there with
You
you.
too, Eric. Yeah.
I know what you mean. I know what you
Yeah,
mean.
yeah.
I got it. It's the best
Yeah,
XP ever.
Yeah. Awesome.
No,
and
that's
So I guess we'll
fair.
see you there
yeah,
then.
but
Yeah.
I was lacking money, so
Mhm.
the fact that I could sell the gold foil so fast and
Yeah.
I'm getting the prize money from the calling
Right.
That just
that
pays for everything.
that yeah, that pays for everything and extras. So
Yeah. It makes you like not
now
have to
I'm
sell the
planning to go to the
PTI.
Pro Tour.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. No, it totally makes sense. I have like
Yeah.
one random insert here. So
Sure.
I know. I'm ignoring Kugane saying you're experienced Kano man. You're definitely more experienced now after playing the calling with Kano. I
That's
mean, like
right.
Yes.
That's right.
I'll say that at least, right? So after
Yeah.
playing, oh man, so what did you play? 17 games between two, ignoring the team event. You played about 17 games in 2 days of Kano, which is quite a bit of Kano. Do you have any like
Yes.
key takeaways for maybe any players that are a little bit they don't really want to play? A lot of players don't like playing Kano at very long events just because of the amount of like brain power and the amount of like decision making and
Right.
it's pretty taxing playing Kano like round after round after round. Do you have any
That's
advice for
true.
like
Yes.
any like key tips and tricks, I guess, for playing Kano in maybe different scenarios? Maybe just always go to one and maximize damage. I don't know, but if there's any kind of generic,
I think against
any generic.
Viserai,
Mm-hmm.
not blocking or general against the aggro matchups, not blocking and
Mhm.
uh, reacting in the last moment that you have to react is like
Mm.
the best advice.
Mhm.
Like being aggressive helps a lot.
That's fair.
Um,
Mm-hmm.
to be
Trading.
fair, the inexperience of some players with Kano
Mhm.
helps a bit.
Yeah.
Like on the streamed game, I made a slight misplay, or I think I just would play differently now.
Mhm.
When on his first turn, he played Cranial Crush for 8,
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
and I just blocked for 3 to keep a blue that I wanted to pitch, and a
Right.
snapback in my hand because I thought should just uh, I just thought I will want to pressure him on my turn so
Right.
that he blocks and can't do as much on his turn.
Mhm.
But in reality, the snapback doesn't really threaten much except for damage. So he could
Yep.
have just ignored it or just blocked part of it and then still come back at me.
Mhm.
It worked out because he blocked it out completely, and I think he pitched a Spinal Crush and a blue to do it.
Mm-hmm.
Good value.
So it worked out because the Spinal Crush would have been bad. But I
Mhm.
think in reality, the better play there would have been to block with the snapback and
Mhm.
just pitch the blue for a blind Kano, hoping to get the potion.
Mm.
Yep. That's fair. I can understand that.
And
Okay.
so that was
Uh.
one of the small misplays I had, I think, or what I
Mhm.
would play differently now.
Mm-hmm. Nice. Yeah, it's
No,
good
that's true.
advice.
Go to the International Flesh and Blood community Discord in the Kano chat there.
Mm-hmm.
There are some very good Kano players there,
Right.
and I think it's the best supportive chat from all of the hero chats there. Like they
Mhm.
are sharing strategies there. They're giving out Kano puzzles where you can see how much damage you can do
Oh,
in that
that's cool. I
situation
love
or
that.
how you kill the opponent and
That's awesome.
Kieran is sharing his deck lists there, and they're giving out tips and answering questions all the time. So
That's awesome.
that was a great help in learning to play Kano. And also, it's very motivating reading the chat. Like,
yeah.
always when I go in, it's like, I want to play Kano.
Yeah.
And now after the tournament, I'm all fired up to play more Blitz Kano, but now it's
Yeah,
Pro
gotta
2 and
get ready
Classic
for
Constructed
CC.
again. And
Yeah, that's
yeah,
right. That's right. That's
That's
awesome.
now I have no idea what to play next.
You got a little bit of time for that. Did you have any? I mean, you already kind of started your shout outs here,
Yeah,
but did you have
exactly.
any other shout outs that you wanted to give? Maybe someone specific, or I mean, you already called out Discord, the international
Yep.
Discord Flesh and Blood. Did you have any other specific people to thank for your?
Well, definitely another shout out to Kieran Carnegie for the deck list and helping me with tips.
Yep.
Also for David Spencer, an Australian Kano player, who also helped me. We were mostly talking about Icelander, but he also gave me some Kano tips. And
Fair
to
enough.
Jason Thompson-Shack, who I talked about the chain deck, even if I ended up not playing it in the end. Also a great guy. And then, of course, a shout out to the local players of my community, because they also did very well at the event. We had one other player from my local armories made top 8.
Oh yeah.
Another was ninth place, and yet another was 15th place. So
Oh wow.
very, very well overall.
Yeah, good standings.
And to my testing partner, Christopher Estelberger, who made top 4 in the Battle Hardened, in the Classic Constructed Battle Hardened.
Now you just have Pro Tour to look for. It's a couple weeks now. What is it?
Yeah, I
April
think
20th.
we're
I got another
a
3
little
or
less
4
than a
weeks.
month. Yeah.
Yeah, a little less than a month. It'd be exciting to see.
But they have another banned and suspended announcement on the 2nd of May, and I have no idea
2 weeks from now.
what to test for now. Like,
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Just play what you enjoy for now.
Play it.
So,
and
like,
pray
we
it doesn't
don't
get
know
banned.
if there will be any bannings or suspensions. Will Stavo be Living Legend or not?
Yep.
It's all up in the air.
Yep.
I mean, I kind of hope that he gets Living Legend, or at least gets something banned or errated or something.
Yep.
Because I really dislike the deck. It's like it really demotivated me from playing the game at all. Like, I was really happy to play Blitz again because Stavo wasn't a part of it.
Yep.
It's
true.
like
I think a lot of people echo that statement, that even if they didn't like Blitz before, at least they don't have to play against Starvo.
It's the worst of two evils. Or I guess the better of two evils, I should say. Yeah.
Chain was very bad in Monarch, and then Briar was very bad in Tails, but Stavo just feels the worst for me. It's like...
Yeah.
That's fair.
Yeah.
Well, hopefully
like
something comes out of
even
that.
when you try to tech against the deck, like I played Briar with Talisman of Thieves that prevents the card draw from the Crown of Seeds, and then my opponent just stops using the crown and just naturally draws into fused open owls and fused crippling crushes, and it's just not fun.
Yeah.
No, it's fair. We appreciate you taking time out of your evening here to hop onto the channel and tell us about your experience with the first calling in Europe. I'm sure there's going to be many more events in Europe. They're really, I feel like LSS is really starting to pay attention to like out of like non-North America events to try to like build those like Asian and European communities, because like the big player base there. So I'll be happy to maybe I'll try to fly over for the Pro Tour, the second one, the August in Paris. Not Paris. It's in France. I don't know where in France it is, but
it's in France. They haven't announced where it is.
They haven't announced where, but it'd be fun to definitely get. I mean, the Pro Tour in New Jersey will be the first chance for the international community to come together, but it'd be nice to fly over to Europe to get a bit more of the local scene there. So that's going to be pretty exciting. But we appreciate having you on, Martin. Congratulations again on the
thank you.
top 4 finish and the gold full sale. I mean, You're just raking it in. So
Are you
congratulations.
are you gonna find out what's inside eventually? Do you know if the person who bought it's gonna open it?
I will ask him.
Yeah.
I don't know yet.
Yeah, it'd be fun to find out.
Yeah, but with that, appreciate everyone who's watched or listened on Spotify. Whenever you are watching in the world, I bid you a good morning, good afternoon, or good evening. Bye for now.